Okay, so I still can't open the door. And I still can't read those because for whatever reason, my matches are all gone. Margaret's Diary, Excerpt 14. September 15th, 1911. I found Henry arching on his bed, naked, grasping the sheets as if they were chains. When Sarah entered, she screamed, "He is possessed." I told her to wake up the servants and go look for Dr. Rosenthal. She was too happy to leave. I came close to Henry. In the darkness, his eyes looked like two balls of mercury, the eyes of his son. He had scars all over his chest, inflicted by his own nails. He grasped the sleeve of my gown and hissed, "There you are, whore." He dragged me towards him, towards the obscene swell of his crotch. The past, the present, and the present were one, drawing a sinister, bloody line to the future. He was lost. A wrecked man, like my father. I was doomed. God had turned his back on me. This poor lady. Was I really the man in the mirror? I looked like a dead man. Probably because you are dead. I'm guessing you are quite dead. Was Selena living here, or was it just a madman's delusions? Probably a madman's delusions. I'm guessing she's dead. You probably killed her. The label says cyanide. Not your everyday perfume. You know, things aren't looking super great for you, my dude. Some sort of goddess of fertility. This bottle of French perfume was probably very expensive. What was that? A hairbrush. The kind of tool a woman always needs in front of a mirror. Some matches, they could be very helpful. A broken glass because of a storm or a quarrel. How did I lose all of my matches? Margaret's Diary, Excerpt 13. September 15th, 1911. It happened tonight, around 1 a.m. The house was quiet. Sarah had taken William to bed after dinner, and Henry had left the living room around 10 p.m., saying he was tired. I thought we were past trying to forge excuses. I was painting in my room when I heard the yell. My heart stopped. I thought it was a delusion, but the yell resonated once again, a yell of ancient fear, reaching out from the abyss. A door that I thought locked for good just slammed open in my mind, and behind it was a frightened child who thought her father was coming back from the dead to take her. Oh. I quickly pulled myself together. I went out in the hall. The yells were coming from Henry's room. William was awake and about to enter his father's room. I sent him back to his bed despite his tears. I knew too well what was waiting inside. Okay, so at least it's... Oh my god, stop. At least it's not like... I thought Henry was inside William's room. Sometimes it felt as if the house didn't want to lose its grandeur. The chair was blocking this door. No need to ask why. Cleaning products covered with dust for the most part. Nathan. William Vesper's Diary, Excerpt 19, June 30th, 1928. Voices came back one by one. I thought I was forever free. I was so naive. That corruption runs too deep. I had to do it again tonight. There was a new girl downstairs, tied on the slut's throne. Her hair as black as mother's gave me the shivers, but they justify the killing. I only touch her when I am wearing gloves. I need to polish my approach. The first time I was too brutal, too rash. Luna is subtle. She knows blood is precious. One cannot pour it out of rage or fear. The act has to be fully conscious. Using drugs, as some Indian tribes do, could amplify my perception of the ritual. But importing them will take some time. In any case, Luna is weak tonight, but she is still there, waiting, curious to see me act. What could such a woman need? An object. Something precious to her. At least these empty bottles have been useful. William Vesper's Diary, Excerpt 23. July 8th, 1928. I drank too much tonight. I woke up in the storeroom. I was holding the knife so tightly that releasing it made me scream. I had a dream. When I was a kid, she locked me up in that room all the time. That night, that dark and moonless night, cold fingers are touching me, their nails as sharp as blades. I hear the relentless voices swirling inside the house and see their empty faces. I am 13. I start screaming. Mother opens the door and starts shouting at me. I try to escape. She pushes me back. Her glass of wine breaks in her hand. Blood flows, drops fall on the ground. A silver beam crosses the skylight and falls upon the red blood. Luna reappears fully in the sky. Mother steps back, and for the first time I see fear in her face. She's afraid of me. I am afraid too, but shivering from excitement. Luna, that night I understood what your favorite wine was. The wine that is flowing in the veins of women with black hair is what makes you shine. Yeah. I didn't. I think I need to come back through here on a full moon. Because obviously the moon is a very important part of this game. This house was too big for a single and isolated child. Wait, yes. Oh, I already turned that on. The chair was blocking the door. No need to ask why. Like, I will bet money that my character is William. There's just too many coincidences for him not to be. You know what? I don't know why the music is being so dramatic. Well, good. Margaret, the day I touched your cold hand for the first time, I knew we would never love each other. I am surprised you could actually give birth to a creature as kind as William. Actually, I like to believe life chose the best for him, in spite of everything, in spite of you. I don't have much longer to live. I'm dead already for you, so be it. But I need to write about the future, about William, and about Vesper Co. I have passed my instructions to my old friend and assistant, Jack Winterstone. My father has always wanted that the head of the company would be a Vesper. William, my only heir, is but a child. You have to replace me at the board, and I trust you will handle it like a true Vesper. I don't trust you, but William still needs his mother. I have asked Jack to make sure he'll be back. He'll never lack anything. He will visit you every week and will have all authority to take my son from you if he notices you do not fulfill your obligations properly. Let me remind you that without my wealth, your family is nothing but a once glorious name swallowed by debts. I will admit, I know that I've read that before. However, to Henry Vesper, our director, his employees seemed to like him. I had no idea where I'd gone, but I could still feel its presence. Vesper Factory, September 14th, 1935. For the last 20 years, Vesper manufacturers and distributors to the East Coast a full line of clothes renowned for their hardiness yet elegant simplicity. The company managed to get through the crisis rather well, a rare, if not exceptional, situation, considering most textile factories around Boston went bankrupt during those dark times. In 10 years, the company managed to adapt to the social situation and enjoyed a constant rise in sales. The company experienced only one major crisis from 1913 to 1919, after the death of Henry Vesper, heir to the founder of the company, Oscar Vesper. Following an aggressive change of strategy, the brand tried attracting higher-profile customers, but returned to its original policy in 1934, when Henry's son, William, took over. The company offers low-priced products, quite appreciated in these difficult times, and it keeps going forward with clear conscience. These kids was the house dwelling on memories. So, I'm assuming, with my aching leg, running away through the window was not an option. So, I'm William Vesper. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Is that a photograph? Jesus. October 15th, 18 I don't want to talk about it. October 15th, 1874. October... useful in this game. But I think that, given that he was 40 years old, I'm guessing 20 years. So he contracted it young to die from seizures.
We were bound. She was trying to guide me, to draw me to her, like a dream which has to be dreamt just to be. She had helped me stay alive until now. This was more than enough to want her presence.
Switch didn't respond. Of course it didn't. Okay, so she headed back, but... William Vesper's Diary, Excerpt 15, March 19th, 1932. Yesterday, Luna had abandoned me. The sky was bottomless. I tried to fix the house wiring, but I ran away. Only the smoke remained. I went to town, only to learn that Selena would not sing that night. Damn the bad luck. So I drank. When I was drunk, I sat by the piano as I would at home. I improvised a jazzy lament, and I've read this before. A secret door. Nothing here surprised me anymore. Am I supposed to be able to go through this door? Because... I don't know. Was that there before? Must not have been. Whoa. Where the fuck am I? Margaret's Diary, Excerpt 10, April 2nd, 1906. William grows well. He has the pale skin and the weak health of his father. I watch carefully over him. He is very quick for a 2-year-old boy. I stimulate him with all sorts of tests and experiences to elevate his soul. Turner's paintings put him in a very strong state of excitement. Bach delights him. He likes things bitter, strangely, and he looks intensely at a picture of Jesus. I tried reading inside him. I tried to make sure this was all worth it. Will he be strong enough to be one of the pillars of this world? God, give me the faith to fight all of these doubts. This morning I saw in his eyes a glimpse of light which reminded me of my father. His eyes, like two pits of darkness, are too deep. I don't like it. They scrutinize your soul, looking for a breach. I seized his arm to make him stop, and then I saw Henry, watching me from the doorstep. He keeps me under watch every time I am with the kid. Margaret's Diary, Excerpt 17, July 6, 1913. I paint all the time. Ideas come by themselves, and I make the paintings as fast as I can to cope with their urgency. Sometimes it feels as if, like it's not me painting anymore, but another Margaret, more instinctive, more animal. What's happening to me? Sometimes I feel like I slept, and I wake up looking at someone else's work. My painting bears the marks. The movement is visible in the thick paste. The hues are darker than they used to be. I even noticed small cuts in the canvas. When I leave my workshop, it feels like my eyesight is better, as if it is craving for light, as if it was deprived of it while I was painting. I forgot to mention, Henry has more and more attacks. Sarah wants me to call the vicar, Hopper. Maybe his coming death has a role to play in my rebirth. Is it the price to pay to be a free woman? Okay, so, yep, there's a spirit here. Margaret's Diary, Excerpt 9, March 6, 1904. Dr. Rosenthal confirmed it. I'm pregnant. Sarah, that poor wretch, who reads more lines in the hands than in books, believes it will be a girl. Yet something is bothering me. I experience fatigue and nausea, of course, but I feel worried because of this mass growing inside me, like a star about to collapse. It will be a boy. I know it. His ego is weighing on my entrails. I had a number of nightmares in which Father came back haunting me. In one of them I was laying naked in a pile of black ashes, the ashes of my ancestors. I couldn't move while Father, his mouth glued to my belly, was whispering words which burned my skin. And then he raised his head and told me he would be mad, even crazier than I was. And then he plunged his head into my stomach, and when he raised his head again, he had the child in his maw, the maw of a wolf. His jaws then snapped with an awful sound. I woke up, the yell of the baby resonating in my own. This boy will be born under the steel star of the Venter Cross, our seal. I will heal him, whatever he brings into this world. Ever since I entered the mansion, I knew it. I was not alone, and I didn't like it. Your mother is very upset with you. On that night, I was no longer a man. I became a prey. It probably was Margaret's room, the beast's womb. The snake head reminded me of the original sin. There's a lot of crosses on the wall. The old kind of lamp had no switch. Margaret's Diary, Excerpt 20, August 26, 1913. Henry died today. His last word was for William, who he called in a whisper. He asked Sarah to play a jazz record before he passed away. Nothing would surprise me anymore. After a number of meetings with the managing board, I will officially assume duties at the Vesper manufacturer. I already noticed a number of issues in the management of the company, all linked to Henry's romantic nature. I think I can clear out most of them and improve the benefits. We will change the strategy and prepare for the future. Vesper should not be the brand of the poor anymore. Margaret's Diary, Excerpt 7. April 12th, 1898. Today was my birthday. I have been in this world for 17 years. It has been 1 year and a half since we buried the man who gave me life. This thing which had been living with us was filth dressed in flesh. Everything is better now. I spent the day looking at our family archives, enjoying the greatness of my ancestors. Leaders often sacrificed for the greater good. At that time, the blood of men was still untainted. Nowadays, it has gone sour like milk left under the sun. That is what killed father, and so we never forget it. I have to paint the beauty of ancient times. I have to portray them as an example for generations to come. I still have hope for our family. Sooner or later, I will bear another Venter Cross. The classes of Miss DeLonges are teaching me a lot. She says I'm one of the finest painters in Boston. Showing her the blue veins under the skin of my arm reminded her that the Venter Cross excellence was carried by the woman's blood first and foremost. Wow, this is like uncomfortable. Margaret and Henry Vesper are the cursed owners of the mansion. I could barely see a balcony on the other side. I could see a balcony. Not barely, but I could see. So she's guarding the bed. Note to self, sabotage. Electric light kills the shadows. These dark doubts of Margaret figured it out, and now they regularly sabotage any electrical apparatus, so that the wirings trip in the middle of the night. With this cruel game, they are trying to wear me out, and it is working. I almost no longer sleep. Is that a body in the bed? It is. There's a body in the bed. Okay, so... the chair belonged to Margaret. I'd rather die than sit here. The snake head reminded me of the original sin. Each second was like a victory, but not necessarily for me. Okay, so it looks like the trail for that lamp goes down another way. And I have yet to actually properly look at the map. Margaret was a bad memory even for that house. Is the door locked still? My dude. Oh, no, open. Dude. Oh, this isn't good. Margaret's Diary, Excerpt 2. 8. That's an 8. I don't know how I missed this. August 7th, 1899. I was introduced today to the Vesper son, the one who would become my husband and seal the alliance between our families. Their success in the textile industry was spectacular, but I felt no vigor for that man, Henry. His blood seems rather poor. He is not tall, and had his tailor not been so efficient, he would have no elegance. But our fortune is past, and we need these people to regain our influence. People only respect money now. Through this alliance, the Vesper will enjoy our contacts within the greatest and oldest families in Boston. Their business, mirrored by competition and politics, will flourish even more. In many ways, I can't avoid feeling superior to that man and his loyal dog eyes. His voice barely covered the whisper of the sea. The wedding will be celebrated in a couple of months. I'm not really excited, but if my flesh can be the torch of resurrection, I will gladly consent to that sacrifice. Margaret's painting reveal a true artistic talent. Wait a second. The storm is coming. More darkness for us. That's not useful, and I hate that that chair is moving. Oh my god, I thought I could save. Don't just rub your leg. Margaret and Henry Vesper, the cursed owners of that domain. Many dark thoughts were born in that room. Couldn't do that while holding a match. Well, honey, I don't... I mean, I honestly legitimately tried to avoid her. But the screen like, every time the screen changed, or the perspective changed, the way that I moved changed, so that's great. Let's not even humor the other thing. Let's go ahead and just... yeah. So that way I still have 6 matches. These books were covering the modern evolutions of fashion. I hate how moist that sounds. Oh god, I hate that sound. Is there anything else I need to be aware of?